Alright, so let's get started, shall we? Let me get that open. Let me get that off. Oh, I don't know why. For some reason, this just does not want to play ball. Fit to screen. And that apparently is it fitting to screen. I don't know why that's doing that. Always something that goes wrong. Forced scaling. That doesn't seem to work either. Let me untick that. There we go. Let's see how many seconds that lasts, shall we? Right, welcome to the Planet Coaster stream. Welcome back to Global Ventures. Here we are. We're going to do some more scenery building. I'll be honest with you guys, I haven't had the opportunity to do much off camera since the end of last stream, so this is still where we're at and what it looks like. It's still pretty good, I feel. I do still think this little section here maybe could do with some reprofiling to speed it up, but I'm really not going to worry about that right now. That is a problem for the future, I would say. One thing I would like to do though is find out if there is a bell sound that you can get from the speakers. Let me check that. Let me check that. There should be some music playing as well. I don't know why there isn't. Settings, audio, music. That's what I want to change. We should get some music playing that. Right, I want special effects. Does it come under special effects? Don't actually know. We've got all this cool stuff now though. I didn't buy any of the Knight Rider stuff. Right, there we go. Sound. I want sound. Ambience. Does it come under ambience? It doesn't appear to. Oh yeah, there's all the mix master stuff. It's not called mix master, but you know, you get the idea. What am I looking for? Speakers, speakers, speakers. I am looking for speakers. Audio. That would be a good one, wouldn't it? Triggered. Right, let's do it this way. Edit building. Needs to go scenery. Like that. And then I'm going to put this on the wall. Like this. Alright, what sounds have you got? A sci-fi. I just need a bell. Some kind of bell. You've got glockenspiel. What does that sound like? No. Gong is close. That was close. What the hell did that say? Oh, it's in its own little language, isn't it? Clever. Very clever. You get to learn some language at least. I mean, that almost sounds like Spanish. I know it's not, but it sounds like. Don't want the gunshots. Do we not have just a bell? I might have to find some. Oh, that sounds horrible. Yeah, that doesn't sound like what I want. Ah, bell ring. Perfect. Might have to have you trigger a few times, but yeah. So let's do that. Trigger, 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 trigger. There we go, triggers. Edit trigger sequence. So we want to add a new trigger. We've got to trace it all the way around the track like so. Up and over there, up and over there. Whoops. Through there. And then round and over this. Alright, so you're first going to trigger at the bottom of the lift. And your trigger is going to be this. Which I believe is that selected? Yeah, it looks like it is. Awesome. No delay. Next trigger, number 7. You're going to be halfway up the lift. So about there. And you're also going to be that speaker. And then finally, a third and final one at the top of the lift there. And you're also going to be, you guessed it, that speaker there. Done. Alright, now I need to select this and make sure its volume is at maximum. That's pitch, it's not volume. I assume it'll be as loud as it needs to be. Righto, so just gonna watch this really quickly to confirm. So you're gonna climb up here, over the top like that, round through the new Heartline, which looks pretty cool actually. And then you're going to slow down in the brakes, which is a little bit too sharp again. Dong? No dong. Why no dong? That one worked. Why didn't the other two work? Track trigger, track trigger, track trigger. That should have worked. We'll assume it works. You can go away. Okay. So with that done, we're now going to start working on theming the tunnel section, which is not going to be much fun. So let's come over here. First of all, we got to find out how tall this tunnel actually is. So a smart way to do that would be to find a way of building something around this. Let's go walls. Actually, no, let's go roofs. Flat roof. Building set. Old West. Okay, don't want that. Don't think it is that one actually. I think for this one we want what have we got with metal? No. Sandstone? No. Stucco? No. Wood tile? No. So we're going to have to go with the wood then. Ye old wood. So you're going to go like this. And then down. I don't know why that opened up the Steam window there, but there you go. You need to go down a little bit. Like that. Alright, is that straight first and foremost? It's not. That's okay though, we can make it straight. We rotate it thus. And then I think we need to move it a little this way. Like that. And then we edit. And we stick the other half on it like so. We do this all the way along. And then we need to put it on a slight slope, which I will do momentarily. I believe the slope is consistent, so actually, if we were to do it now, it would make life a little bit easier. Although it's not actually looking like it's going to let me, which is going to be a bit annoying. So, I have to do it this old-fashioned way, I think. Like this. You have to keep doing this all the way along the length of this tunnel. Like so. I had a feeling this bit was going to be a little bit on the tricky side. That's fine. In fact, this bit here is going to have to go down one as well. Like that. And then these three. And then this one. Whoops. Like so. This is a very deep tunnel. I hadn't actually realised just how deep underground it went. There you go. This game's full of surprises. Right, like that, like that. And then that looks pretty good like that. This section here we're just going to leave as open. Okay, so that is our tunnel. Now we've got to decorate it some. Boy, that's deep. That's a very deep tunnel. Alright. Hey Sparky, the kits look awesome. For those of you who also watch my Football Manager series, Sparky has very kindly designed some new kits for Hatfield Town this season, and they are looking very, very nice, if I do say so myself. Very much looking forward to seeing the players getting those on. Hopefully, the database will be ready soon and we can start playing it. Fingers crossed on that one. Yeah, I wouldn't want to be stood here in real life. It's a very precarious place. And I hate to say this, but I think actually, maybe not from there. That bit actually looks okay. Because here it starts to get a bit steeper again. But this section here, I might have to redo. Maybe just this little bit here. Because I know it does start sloping up again fairly steeply. So let's do that. Like so, and like so. And then these three are going to have to drop down one. And hopefully with this step system, the edges are hidden. Yes, they are. Whoosh. So I think it's just these ones now that need to be lowered. In fact, just these two. Yeah, that looks good. Or maybe this one as well, actually. These two bits here as well. Alright. That is that section done. Whoops. God, camera controls on this game sometimes are a little bit finicky. So that's all looking pretty good. So now I've just got to put the walls in using maybe these columns. Don't actually know how well these would look. If I was to change the grid size, I think that's a little too wide, that one. It's that, but it's not very... Okay, tell you what I'm going to have to do. Let's finish that one for a second. Close that. Roofs, wood pad, like so. Needs to be too wide. I keep umming and ahhing. Apologies for that. We could do with framework, stuff like this. That would look awesome. If I could get this piece to stand up, I mean, is that 90 degrees? The idea is it's not supposed to be 90 degrees actually, it's supposed to be a little bit... If I have it lean in just a little bit like that, and then moved it up like this, and then duplicate that, spin it around, and again you don't want it to be perfectly, that's not the way I wanted to spin it actually, or that, or that. What's redo? Is it on the screen? No. Keyboard shortcut redo. Oops. Control Y. That's what I want. Select you. Duplicate. You need to come first of all straight up again so that I can move you across more into place, and then you're going to tilt like that, and we're going to move you into position a bit like this, and then this one, cancel that, this one is going to go like this. Advanced move, and we're going to lift you up so that you're in position, and we're going to shift you across slightly. Okay, do you know what? We're just going to have one. And we'll make it fit. There you go. That fits. Shift you across. There we go. Right, you, and you. I'm going to lift up a little bit more. And that should be the basis of our tunnel structure. I'm going to shove some scenery on this as well, because I want some lighting. What does that come under? Props, I guess. Yeah, lights. Scenery theme, Western. We want some old oil lamps. We don't want that. One on this side, and then one on this side, I was going to say, but actually, easier said than done. There, maybe? In fact, what I really want is... No, I want the lamp. There we go. Turn that off. Is it just a lamp on a bracket? There's a square lantern. Is there really no... I mean, that's too much the other way, isn't it? And we could have that suspended from the ceiling. Like so. But I just feel like that's too low. So we'd have to move all of this up again. Which we can't do. That is our literal ceiling. I mean, we could give it a crack and see how that looks. Alright, so this... Oh, hang on. Save as blueprint. New blueprint. Bandito tunnel scenery. Self-explanatory. It comes under scenery. Other scenery, I suppose. Create. Right, now we get to stick that in position. So, building. Well, my blueprints actually would be easier. Bandito scenery, tunnel scenery. Yeah, you can already see where the problem lies with this. It's fixable, at least I hope it is, if we get these and tilt them down a little bit more. Like so. And then did the same on this side. And this one I just have to move a little bit. Like that. Right, now I've got to check clearances. So we need to wait for a car to come through here. And then I'll be able to see whether this will work or not. I can hear the roar. This was the issue. That needs to move up. Like that. Needs to move up into the ceiling like that. And then this piece and this piece actually need to come down a little bit. It needs to be obvious that that is part of the ceiling support. So I think that should work. Right. Duplicate and advanced move. I would say every other tile we need to do this with. It's got to be just below. Yeah, that looks good. Duplicate and move. This is actually going a little bit quicker than I thought it would. That's what I love about this game. If this was Roller Coaster Tycoon, I'd have to make each individual piece of this tunnel. But because it's Planet Coaster, I just have to make one and blueprint it. And suddenly, life is so much better. Until we get to here, because we've got to go around a corner. That's fine. So we come along like this. Along like this. Then we turn. Like so. And then we go back into advanced mode. Red along there. And then green down. To there. And then I think for safety, this way a little bit. I can hear the rumbling. Up a little bit more. We'll see how that looks in just a little bit. Right. Let's just check the thing. I'm still streaming. That's good. That's always good to know that. Alright, bring you across to about there. Then we'll bring you down to about there. And then we're going to rotate you to about there. I think you need to come down just a little bit more. And then over a little bit. Maybe up just a tad. And then a little bit towards that way. Again, just wait for a car to come through so we can check clearance. I have a feeling already that we're going to have to move that way a little bit. Here one comes. Whoosh. That's pretty good placement, I would say. Yeah, this looks quite good. This looks quite good. The lamps are a little bit redundant at the exit there because it's all daylight. So I might put a building around the exit of the tunnel as well, just so that it's a little bit more hidden, not just from view, but also so that daylight doesn't stream in like it currently is. Because that does ruin the effect a little bit. The idea is you're not supposed to know where you're going to come out, or when you're going to come out, and then suddenly if you see daylight you think, ah, the end is nigh, which, you know, ruins the element of surprise a little bit. It doesn't tell you what you're going into, of course, although you do see the track in front of you. Infomouse, first of all, welcome to the stream. Not to backseat design, the other lamps you could hang off the side planks vertically as if they were sitting on a hook rather than on the actual planks themselves. Are you referring to these ones, the oil lamps? They just didn't seem... I mean, I probably could go around and replace all these lamps. I wanted to have some lamps on the ceiling, like casting light downwards. But I mean, yeah, I can always change them. I can always change them in the future. That's why I'm preferring to stream this series right now, because in terms of Planet Coaster experience, I have little to none. So any feedback is greatly appreciated. I think we got good clearance with that bit. But yeah, I'll happily look at those oil lamps again. It's kind of, this is my building style where I'll go gun-ho and do something. A bit like with the track work for this coaster actually. And then after I've built it, I'll stop and I'll take a look at it and think, actually, yeah, I could change this, I could change this. And then it will start sort of falling into its final shape a bit more. That's pretty good clearance. think just because I can, I'm going to lift that up just a little bit more. Now this section down here, I'm not quite sure where I'm going to end these supports. I don't want them going the whole way through the tunnel, because the idea is you're falling into broad brush, then touch up. Yeah, that's exactly it. That is exactly it. I mean, at the moment, I'm going in with one of those wallpaper, not wallpaper, one of those wall roller painter things. Nowhere near even the broad brush phase yet. I'm very much I'm a coaster designer. I'm not exactly a scenery placer. So I'm always looking if there's anyone out there who can do scenery on Planet Coaster. I'm always looking for someone to collaborate with. Right, let me just pop this bit up a little bit. There we go. We've got some floor support now. I like the kits, Sparky. I think they're really cool. I was saying a little earlier on about how you've designed the kits for us. Really good job with them. Cannot wait to see Dinsmore and Akioto. Who else? Clifton. Can't forget Danny Clifton, of course. Can't wait to see them all putting the kits on. Right, I think this might be the last one that I'm going to place. The reason being, as I was saying just now, the storyline of this part of the ride is you think you've been caught, but it turns out, what the hell was that flash? It turns out that the bandits that were planning the robbery, who you tag along with, had a feeling that they might get... Oh, has it gone nighttime or something? That's awesome, that lighting effect, by the way. That is amazingly good. What was I saying? Oh, yeah. So you think you've been caught. You're at the top of the clock tower. There's nowhere to run. And then suddenly one of the banditos announces that you're going to jump. And that's what the vertical drop into the tunnel is. It's the vertical drop. There's a well or something. I'm going to disguise this hole, because it doesn't look particularly picturesque right now. Why is the lighting in there suddenly started working? I mean, I'm not complaining, it looks fantastic. Just wondering why it suddenly went, okay, we're going to start working now. There you go. That's the old tunnel, by the way. So yeah, there's going to be like a mist covering or something over the hole. And then you're going to jump, or in this case, free fall. And it turns out the banditos have actually dug a hole from the town well to the old mine shafts underneath, and that's what this tunnel section is. It's you going through the old mine shafts, which is why in some cases we still have the old Davy lamps, like here, and then in some cases, like a little bit further back and a little bit towards the end, maybe here, there's going to be no support, no floor, nothing. It's going to be the hand dug tunnel that the banditos have dug. Maybe I just suddenly went down far enough that the lights have suddenly decided to kick in. That is a really cool looking effect. I love the lighting in this game. They've did a really good job with it. I mean, Coaster Tycoon 3 was okay with lighting, but it caused a lot of lag. So I very, very rarely built parks at night. For realism's sakes as well, of course. There aren't that many parks around the world that go into night hours. Disney parks, yes, and I think some of the Six Flags parks, and then all the parks in Britain do when it's Halloween. Did not want to do that. There we go. So you don't get the chance to see parks in the dark very often, so I never really did that in Roller Coaster Tycoon. But with this game, I feel like there's a reason to do it. Because you want to see how awesome your creations look at night, with all the lighting and everything, especially with the fireworks and everything like that as well. They will look incredible. Right, because of the banking of this particular corner, I think that is as safe as I can get it to the track. And we're going to have a look and see what that looks like. So we're going to close this. We're going to go and we're going to give Bandito another ride. Good timing too. Ah, you can hear the bells. Oh. Just have to restart my, refresh my page on Twitch on my laptop. Right, drop into the tunnel. Whoosh, 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 whoosh. That's pretty good clearance throughout, I'd say. There's enough head choppers there, which adds to the element of surprise. And you could definitely see where the lighting cut off as well. So there is a cut-off point between darkness and light. That's a very good conclusion to a pretty decent ride. It's starting to take shape, which is awesome. I was saying last week about the weenies. The clock tower is definitely a weenie. If you don't know what weenie is, look it up. It's not as bad as it sounds, I promise you. Right, so I am going to build a building of some description over this section here. And I've got to be careful. It's basically going to be a square, or not, maybe not a square, but an oblong shape, and you come out of the roof of the building. I think that would work. Maybe I will just leave it blank like that, or barren, not blank. If I grab some rocks, we haven't got Western rocks. What are these then? Desert. Exactly. Why even give me the choice if you're going to deprive me of it later on? Right, desert rocks. Yeah, we're going to rock it up a little bit more. Most definitely. And this is basically what this stream is now. It's going to be theming, decorating, and, in a word, improving Bandito. And turning it more and more into the finished article. So actually, even just surrounding this hole with rocks might affect the lighting down below, which would be perfect. Try and get the track to lie as close to the rock face as possible, because that gives you that feeling of collision again, which is always good to have. I have a feeling that one's a little too close. Yeah, just a fraction too close. That's what the move tool's for. And we're just going to line this part of the tunnel. We could well line the first bit of the tunnel as well, actually. That would make sense. Let's see, that's a small one. Kind of want to align it to the scenery and not, or the landscape rather, and not the track. That's more like it. Like this. Turn it a little bit like that. Turn it again like that. And a little bit in like that. This is all fine doing it like this, but at some point I've got to fill these gaps in, which is not going to be as fun. Especially when your cameras are misbehaving somewhat. So that is going to go there. But then we are going to shift it up into the ceiling somewhat. So it's going to be a bit of a random transition from deep mineshaft to suddenly desert rock, almost like Death Valley type rock work. But The fact that it's a rudimentary dug tunnel, it's not supposed to look nice. It's supposed to look like it was improvised last minute. Very Shawshank, this tunnel. And I'm saying that having never actually seen the film, so I'm assuming it was a crudely dug tunnel. And there's probably a lot of people out there now having a heart attack because I've just admitted I've never seen Shawshank. Yes, I've never seen Shawshank. There's loads of classic films I've never seen, actually. You'll be amazed. There's also loads of really crap films that I have seen, so I suppose it cancels out in the end. The first weenie is the Volcano of Life, which needs a new name. Because it's not a bad name, it's not a terrible name, it does what it says on the tin, but it could be better. That's the phrase I'm looking for. It could be better. Right. I'm very briefly going to cut people's heads off in here whilst I lift this rock up into place. I would say the ceiling gets very low at the end of this, and the rocks should, yeah, sticks up above the ground as well, which is good. That's what I wanted. This rock does the job of two. In fact, this one could too if I place it carefully. Maybe not this one. This one, though. If I stick it there. Yeah, that's not terrible. And then stick that one there. And then do a little bit of... Whoops. Wrong move button. That one. Mount Boom. I've heard worse, actually. So we'll put that one on the maybe pile, shall we? I mean, when I spitball names, bear in mind, Global Ventures is a project that I've been working on for like 7 or 8 years now. From first concept to trying to build it on Rollercoaster Tycoon 3 to now building it on Planet Coaster. It's a long old process. You wouldn't believe how many man hours have gone into actually designing the park. So I go through a lot of name iterations. And when I decided that... I mean, it wasn't originally going to be a volcano in the middle of the park. It was going to be a huge globe. But I had to fit it in with the roller coaster that's over there at the moment. And the roller coaster is supposed to be built on a tropical island. And something that you do find on lots of tropical-ish islands are volcanoes. So volcano then became a natural choice. And then it was a case of, what do I call it? Mount Boom and Mount Doom. They were suggestions. If I was going for a threatening vibe, but as I'm not, I have explained this in the actual video where I named it. But the basic premise is this is the globe. That, you know, there's an area of the park that represents not necessarily every country, but at least every continent. The only one that's missing is Antarctica. We haven't got an Antarctic region in the park yet. We've got an Arctic one on the drawing board. We haven't got an Antarctic one yet, but we might do. But we've got continents from both the northern and southern hemispheres. But the story of how it all came to be is volcanic activity. You know, we had the Big Bang, which, yes, I do believe in the Big Bang. That created the the molten rock in the first place, and then through tectonic and volcanic activity it's formed into the continents and the countries and the islands that we know now. So I like to be educational as well as fun, so why not include that in the architecture of the park and have a big volcano. You can't go in the volcano on foot, but you can go in it on the roller coaster, which I haven't ridden for in quite a while. And I'm looking at, if they've done some lighting changes here, they might well have done some lighting changes over on that ride as well, because that goes underground partially. So that'd be interesting to check out. Alright, I've nearly patched this hole. Did I mean to press cancel there? Probably not, actually. Somewhere here there's a big hole still. So I'm going to go and put this there. And then we're going to lift it into place. Like this. And then we're going to maneuver it a little bit more this way. And then a little bit this way. Something like that. Okay, now I need to select this rock. And that one needs to come this way a little bit. This way a little bit. And then definitely that way a little bit. In fact, that way as well. Right, I think that'll do for the exit to the tunnel. Now we can go mad with rocks in this area. Like that. We'll have to move it just a little bit again. Yeah, Legend of the Frontier. It's going to have sort of two parts to it. It's going to be a real rocky area. The majority of the rocky area is actually going to be over where the mine train coast is going to be. But this area was going to be sort of more the townscape kind of bit. But you don't just get rid of an entire like Death Valley scenery and build a town. It still exists, you just flatten it and manipulate it enough that you can build a town in the space. So that's gonna be what this is gonna look like when it's finished. So even the track here, it gets relatively close to the ground, so it will run in and around these rocky outcrops. That would be, whoops, that's the one I want. See if I just put the rock in like that and then put the small one in just about underneath it like that, and if we can hide some of these support structures as well, that would work out quite nicely too. I think actually I liked the look of that one with a slight overhang, so it's kind of like one last head chopper. Shy Vixen, hello. Did you make the coaster? Yes, I made the coaster. I just built my first ever coaster and could not work out how to add more sets of cars to it. It was grayed out. Was the station long enough? Is the first question. If it was it cars per train you were trying to add, or was it number of trains on the track? Because if you want more trains on the track, particularly with coasters, and I cannot stress this enough, even if you're a brand new coaster builder, block break your coasters. It'll stop crashes from happening. It really irritates me because there are some good not good coaster builders. I mean, they're good coaster builders, but they don't specialize in coaster building. That's the diplomatic way of saying it. There are some good Planet Coaster players out there who do everything right with the scenery, and they do everything right with sort of the look and feel of the coaster, but they completely ruin it because they don't block break their coasters, which means they're not realistic. They'll never work in a real life scenario. There's no way in hell that health and safety would allow a coaster to run without block breaks. That's why a lot of old coasters nowadays are shutting down, because they don't meet health and safety criteria. But if you block break your coasters, you might find you'd be able to add more cars onto the track. That'd be one thing I would try. More trains on track. No idea what I'm doing, lol. Only had the game 2 days and trying career. Yeah, try and block break your coasters and see if that would work. They basically, in order to have more than one train, there needs to be somewhere for the second train to go. So there needs to be a bit of track for it to sit on before you start testing the ride. I did not mean to do that. I think I completely messed that up. If that doesn't work, then I wouldn't know what to suggest next. For me, it tends to be you got a block break. As I say, use the block break. It's what it's there for. It's there to make your coasters not just safe, but also more fun. But yeah, I did build this track. If you go check out my my series of this on YouTube, last week's stream is up on that series now as well, by the way. You get to watch the many different iterations that this track's been through since I first built it. Way back when. Built it a long time ago now. Like, originally it was going to be, I built this weeks ago, but actually I built this months ago when I think about it, because I think it was July, maybe August, when I first started working on this section of the park, and this is the first ride that I've put in this section of the park. In fact, at the moment, it's the only ride that's in this section of the park. I might need to go change that and build another ride in here, just to even the numbers out a bit more. Have I modded you, Sparky? I'm surprised that worked. Right. I'm going to call that quits on the tunnel now. I think I've done a lot of tunnel editing. I've also done a lot of scenery doing around here as well. That is one area I don't mind admitting I'm not very good at. Excuse me, is scenery. I'm woeful at certain types of scenery placing. Like with rock work, it's not too bad because you just literally place a load of random rocks and you can sort of move them and shape them and sculpt them into the kind of positions that you want them to be in, so it looks like a rugged landscape. I mean, even there I can see there's a gap which I'm gonna have to plug. Try that and then move it a little bit more out the way, rotate it, not that way. I wish undo just undid that one bit, not the whole damn thing. Normally my brother does the modding for me, but he has no interest in theme park games, so he won't be watching this right now. Plus, there's the brutal, honest truth that I really don't get enough viewers on average to warrant a dedicated mod. Normally, I'm able to handle it myself. I'm amazed that command worked for you, because I'm sure I've got it set for modders only, not modders, moderators only. So I might have to have a look at that. Major security concerns. Speaking of which, I am going to have to start putting security cameras, etc. in this park. Right after I've stopped this rock from killing people. There, that's a good spot for it. Yeah, I'm quite happy with that. This bit here reminds me a lot of Alpengeist at Busch Gardens, Williamsburg. The section where it goes right down low to the ground next to the log flume. And there's that one section. Just realised I'm editing the building. There's that one section where there's the snow-capped rocks. Does it give you the wrong link? No, that's the right link. M4J_gaming. Let me check that. There should be an underscore there. Oh, it says not found. Really? That's not right. Let me check that actually. That's good that you've highlighted that. Creator Studio. You get to sit and watch a corkscrew for a second while I just have a look at this channel. Advanced. That's weird. Now does it work? I'm sure I copied it directly from the URL it gave me. That's really weird. But yeah, if I find the right URL, you can go check out my YouTube channel. And you'll be able to watch the series up to now. If only Moobot didn't delete links, Sparky, I'd be able to see what one that was. Privacy? No, I wouldn't go under privacy. That's stupid. I always start clutching at straws for some reason when I can't find what I'm looking for. Here, my channel. I'm supposed to have a custom URL. I signed up for one and everything. Customized channel. No, that's not what I'm looking for. Or is it what I'm looking for? We'll come back to that in just a second, because I think I should do some more Planet Coaster right now. Yeah, thanks for bringing that to my attention, Sparky. I'll definitely look into that. Either a little bit later on in this stream, or as soon as I finish streaming, because that should not be happening. Alright, here is very lazy rock work. You just put down a few big rocks, like so. In fact, 2 is probably the best one, because of how massive it is. Big rock. And you put it in all different angles, and hope to God that it's not sticking through underneath. Don't appear to be. Good. Right, and get some more random ones like this, and this, and then stick a couple in like so. Like that, and like that, and like that. And like that. And we'll call that done for now. So yeah, Bandito is kind of on, not on ice, that's not the right phrase. I'm bugged by this YouTube URL thing. I shouldn't be, but I am. Set up a custom URL. Alright, hang on. I might be able to do this. Settings. Advanced. Additional features. Advanced. Ah! That's not what I want it to be. Right. That's the page I was just on. That's annoying. Okay, so I'm going to change it to say that. Let me do that now, before I forget. So the screen's going to go all funny for a second whilst I tab out of the game. Moobot. Commands, command list, YouTube, edit. Alright, youtube.com/c/m4j3-m4j. I could have sworn I changed it. Right. Should we test that? I think we should test that. So if I go into this and do !YouTube, does it work? It works. It works. I don't know what that's all about then. Yes, that's the engineer within me, unfortunately. I see something that doesn't work like it should do, and I have to make it so that it does work. Alright, we're back in the game. I'm on the wrong screen on my other monitor, so I'm going to tab out of the game again for a second. So I can do this. Now we go back into the game again. Oi. I don't think that actually changes anything on the stream, it's just my monitors. Because I've got two monitors and they're both different sizes. So it ends up doing this weird shape-shifting thing. Right. Now, this mounting is going to be really important in just a second. First of all, we need to do some landscaping. Over here, we need to lift all this up. Why that's decided to be awkward, I do not know. Actually, it's not particularly ideal when the train on the edge of the park, because on Tycoon 3 that would just match wherever you'd set the land at the border to. This wants to play a completely different game, so we're gonna have to deal with that. I mean, that's sort of tidied it up. It would be nice in the future if they made it so that you can actually increase the sizes of your parks, because although this park looks massive, the fact that I'm already on the border here, I feel like it should be, or at least I could make it a little bit bigger. Anyway, this is all getting lifted up. Oh, the bell's working. That's good. Hear the nice little dong there as the car goes up the lift hill. I might have got it in my head a little bit wrong, but I've always had it a picture in my head of when the cowboys are facing off doing the duel. There's always like a clock tower somewhere with a bell ringing. Tycoon 3 still has a very, very good modding community. I mean, the scenery in the game was pretty good. Particularly once you got into the wild pack, there was a lot of good stuff there. Soaked was pretty good as well, I suppose. I liked the fact that there's a little cheat that I always used in career parks on that where if you just put a swimming pool of any size and you charge, I think it was like $2 entry, people would just pay. I mean, they'd go in and in and in and in, and you'd get so much money from it. It was a really good way of making money from nothing, pretty much. But yeah, the scenery on that was pretty good. But then I found the modding community, and I mean, I play games like Skylines, and I think, oh, the modding community have done a really good job with this. But considering how long ago Roller Coaster Tycoon 3 came out, and even now you can still find new stuff being uploaded, it's what makes me a little bit sad that Planet Coaster hasn't got that functionality built into it yet. It might do in the future, but right now they haven't really made it open to modders. But you never know. Don't rule anything out, is what I always say. Right, so we're roughening up the terrain a little bit here. This is all going to be crucial. In fact, not this bit. This bit needs to be pretty smooth. The intensity of this is 100%, but it doesn't feel like it. It feels really low. Right here, it doesn't feel like it's doing anything. It's easier just to do it like this. And then smooth. Right, now we get to paint this rocky sand. Fits in quite nicely with the theme we're going for. This is me using the broad brush. I will go over it in a second and touch it up. That came out wrong, but you know, you get my point. We are going to have to get the railroad running through here at some point as well, and I would quite like the railroad to interact with the mine train coaster. So that's a good opportunity to do that in just a second as well. We've done a lot of work with the with Bandito this stream and last. Although last stream we spent the majority of it trying to get the actual stream to work. Once we got that working, we did a fair bit of work with Bandito. Now we want to move on to the next sort of big project. So we're going to fill all this in. So we have our town square kind of set up here with the clock tower, etc. There's going to be a steakhouse, which is going to be on this corner, and then behind it, but part of the same building, is going to be the dark ride that I'm planning on building. And then over here is going to be the mine train coaster. So what I really need to do is start building. In fact, where is the railroad? The railroad is here. I haven't done anything with the railroad since we built the station way back when. Way back when. So long ago now. Almost a year ago, I think, actually, I built this. And all of the entrance plaza and things like that. The buildings here are a little bit later. And actually, over here, I haven't finished what I was going to do here yet. Yeah, these buildings, actually. This tower here was something I found on the workshop, as were all of these fairy tale style buildings. This is one I made myself. This was the first building I made, I think, in this park, which wasn't very good. The station building is on the second iteration. I went for a modest building, but I think actually it needs to be bigger. I think it needs to be a bit more grand. Plus I'm going to put like a decorative flower bed here, so the building would need to stand out. Our initial attempts at a dark ride are still sat here. We have a store. It's a food store, which I am going to redo once the latest patch comes out with the picnic tables. Because that needs redoing. Over here is the Somerset Emporium, which still looks quite nice, actually. I'm quite pleased still with how that turned out. This is all just a facade, so this building's pretty much going to stay as is. I might just put a concrete box around it or something. And then we worked our way down here. I don't know why I'm doing a history of Global Ventures, because I'm supposed to be starting the mine train. I think it's because I'm not afraid, but I'm a little bit tentative about building this, because Now I've got Bandito right, I really want to get the Mine Train Coaster right from the start. So you're going to come out like this. And you can see that the path isn't even, and that's part of the quirk of the design. Let's get rid of that for a second. That's what I want. Except it needs to be that type, and then like that. There we go. And then from here, we're going to have another cross path like that, and then here we're going to have another cross path like that. Alright, so the mine train is going to start, the actual station is going to be up here on the hill. So, coasters is what I want, although I will just check here while I'm here. Okay, I thought earlier on today I saw someone had built the water coaster, which I didn't think was out yet. And it's definitely not on here, so maybe I was just seeing things. Who knows? What I do know is you're going to go like this, and we are going to build you... I don't know why Steam opened up again there. Right up against the... In fact, hang on. Let's smooth this bit of land out here first. Just like this. And it's going to go into... that's not what I wanted. Flat into foundation is what I wanted. Just like that. And this is going to be the basis for our station. And you're just going to be painted with rudimentary sand. And rocky sand. In fact, now I know I can do this, I might go back and repaint the inside of the tunnel on Bandito as well with the rocky sand. Make it look a little bit more realistic. Right. Coasters. Has anyone said anything in the chat? No. Good. Well, not good. Bad, but it means I haven't missed anything, which is good. Alright. The mine train coaster is going to be built like so. Auto tunnel is going to be switched on. Now, the idea is going to be this land here is going to be lifted up a little bit because the queue is going to go through a tunnel, through like a mine. It's going to enter the tunnel under here somewhere, go up inside a tunnel, and then come out and connect up with the station building here. The exit is going to be on this side. So actually, is this set up correctly for that? It is not. I think I can just change that here. Yes, we go in on the left, out on the right. Perfect. Except now you're playing hardball with me, are you? Yes, you are. Or are you? No, you're not. That's fine. Although that being said, I would like to make it one longer. Because I can. Right. So pretty much out of the blocks, you're going to be a bit smaller. And you're going to start going down. And you are going to start banking as well. Like that. You're then going to go round. You're going to be longer. You're going to be downer. And you're going to be bankter. you're going to start to level out, but not fully. In fact, you're going to go up a little bit again. And you're going to round a bit more. Because why the hell not? Like so. And then you're going to level off. Like that. You're going to debank. And you're going to drop down some more. And we're going to go underground. So let's see what this looks like first. First and foremost, before I commit to building some more. Ignore the crashing cars everywhere, because that won't be happening. Right, so I think actually here, let's go back one, level off, you're going to unbank, and you're going to start dropping again. Like so. And you're going to turn to the left this time. Like this. How close are we to the boundary here? How much space we got to work with? A fair amount actually. Fair amount, not too bad. Although I feel like I should be perhaps lifting up again at this point. Maybe I will just bank to the right. Whoops. Camera work. One day I'll get used to the camera controls. But it is not this day. Right. Start to level out and start to turn. Or start to bank. Here you're going to go round to the right again. Very right centric this beginning of the ride. You're going to do a full 90 whilst starting to climb again. Up to there. Like that. And you're going to straighten. You're going to level. And you're going to level. I think you can come up a little bit more actually. Maybe like that. And then here you're going to start to dip again just a little bit. And then here you're going to go friction brakes with a catwalk. Like so. And then block brakes. Like so. You're going to level out. I'm going to turn auto tunnel off for this bit. Shorten you a little bit more. You're going to turn like this, and you're going to go round and round, and then here is going to be the first lift hill, I think. This could be fairly steep, but not too bad. Something like that, perhaps. like so. And level you off. If I extend it a little bit more, I'll have you tip down slightly. Like that. Right. Let's test this and see how it looks. Because every chance it's going to be way too fast. Yeah, I'm not so keen on the exit to the tunnel because I think we go in too fast and the brake itself isn't long enough. So you're still going to straighten out. You're going to go from turning that way to turning this way. And you are going to come out of the tunnel. Round like this. You're going to straighten it out. Needs to be a bit longer, I think. And you need to dip down again slightly. I think you need to be shorter if you're going to do that. Right, try again, shall we? So you're going to do a 90-degree turn, but you're going to lose your banking as you do it, at least a little bit. You're going to level out like that. You're then going to go like this, start to dip down slightly as you turn from that way to this way, and you're going to crest like that. And then you're going to come round like this. Now, I do want it to interact with Bandito, but not too much. Too much interaction, not a good thing. But I think here is not necessarily bad. I need to stop that test. Because I don't think actually we're going to have enough speed. Alright, hang on. I can fix this. There you go, lift all this up. And then do the old roughen. Wow, that's quite an outcrop. If we can get some rockage going on there as well, that would look awesome. Very much like Monument meets Death Valley. Just do some crude painting, and then get the smaller brush for the sand bits here. There we are, and then just fill in this gap there. Right, cool. Select you. Edit track. Right, now we're going to have it turn to the right. Sorry, to the left. We're finally going to have a left turn on this ride. And we're going to have it go down and around. So you're going to have to bank a little bit more there as you start to climb up again. And then you're going to level off. You're going to straighten. You're going to level off. Like that. I think that's going to do okay. And then here you're gonna straighten up a little bit, start to go down, something like that maybe, like so, and then you're gonna be a trim brake, I think, with catwalk. Your target speed is going to be 8, and then a block brake, which is going to be a lot shorter. Your brake target speed is going to be 5. Alright, let's just nip in here and check this out. This is with the auto tunnel on, isn't it? Yes. So this is going to be a bit like Thunder Mountain, in that this lift hill is going to be mostly enclosed. In fact, pretty much entirely enclosed. Roughen it all up and then paint it. There we go. It could turn out that I've gone for totally the wrong type of Frontier. I mean, it kind of helps that it's Frontier and that's the company that made the game. That's kind of nice. Right. Level you off. Like so. And then you are going to nip down slightly, like so, and then we come off of the lift hill. Cool. But we're also going to lower the land here, so you come literally off the lift hill out of the tunnel, like that. And we're going to roughen you up, and that actually, that's almost carved perfectly how I want the first drop to go. Because I'm very aware of the fact that I've been quite right-hand biased so far, but I think actually this is also going to be a right-hand turn out of this tunnel. We do need to repaint the track as well, so I'm going to do that really quickly. The track needs to be a dark brown, or a light brown with dark brown elements, shall we say. Yeah, that's not dark brown. That is, though. The supports need to be black, because you're not really going to see them. There we go. And you also need to be that colour. That's red again. You see, that's just brown. Wish I could change that. But anyway, that's our first lift hill. So now we're going to go into our drop. Let's turn auto tunnel off for a second. Alright, I'm going to turn it back on for this little bit. Where's the absolute border of the park? That's right the way over here still. Okay, we've got loads of room. We've got loads and loads of room. So this is going to go down like this. and then level out to then climb up again. Not that steep. I'll sort that out in a second. Actually, maybe that's steep. No, not that steep. Like so. Where it will also begin to even out. Reason being is at the top here. We're going to go for a little bit of air time with this one. So you need to level out. And then over the top, like so. That should give us the air time that we crave. I want it to be a fairly bumpy ride. Like controlled bumps. If that makes any sense either. So see, the length of train I'm fairly happy with. It's just the speed through here I want to check now. So that's actually quite fast through there. I think that's the brake. And then the lift hill. Okay, so it does make it to the lift hill. That's good news. That's very good news. Alright, Sparky, thanks for coming in. I will see you tomorrow, most likely. Alrighty, here comes the train. In fact, that is quite a good drop. Actually, no, it's not a very good drop. I think it's actually because this is too steep. I think the question I'm going to have to ask myself is how steep do I want this drop to be? Alright, is this going to be too slow? So after that sort of pre-lift sequence, I do want to kind of ease the riders into this first section. I think what I could do actually is get rid of that and do a helix down. That'd be awesome. Yeah, that's cool. Sounds a bit destructive down there, but in a cool way, I hope. So we're going to turn this. We're also going to bank this a little bit more. And we're going to... In fact, can I do this as a 90-degree turn? Maybe not quite 90. Something like that, maybe. That's a pretty cool first drop, I would say. And then have it come round like this, and then here have it start lifting up again. A little bit like so. And then here you're going to level out. And here we're going to have a little bit of air time. So you're going to climb up like that, and then you're going to go over the top with the air time. Like that. And then here we're going to have a double down. So it's going to go over like that, and then it's going to drop again like that. And then you're going to go up to half helix up left. And what height's that? 16. And this would be like the pause for thought section. Although I have a feeling here we can actually afford to go a little bit bigger. Yeah, that looks good. That looks really good. Right, up to the left. Helix. You're gonna level and go down again. Like that. Turn that off. Bank. And you're going to go round like so, and down a little like so, and down. Oh, hang on. No, I can do this. Let's not be lazy. Turn this back on. We're going to put rock and landscape and stuff around this. Don't worry, it will look nice. Alright, tell you what. Steeper. Actually, if I just went straight into a helix up left. Yeah. This is a train coaster. It's going to have to be relatively close to the ground. I think actually it's doing the job fairly well. I like this double down. Just want to check that the helix looks okay. So yeah, release this off the chain. Down into there. Up and over that. Up and down there. Into this helix. All the excitement flew through the roof then. Alright, I'm going to do one more thing to make this a little bit more exciting. Right, here. So you're going to come off the lift hill and it's going to plateau for a bit. Like that. And that should build up enough speed so that when it does drop down into the tunnel, it's really going for it. Stop test a second. I'm going to pull this land up here if I can. I can. Cool. And we'll paint that again. Alright. That helix down. Should we go down to the left instead? No, I think down to the right would work better. There you go. And we'll re-sculpt this so it's not actually underground until it gets to this bit here. Right. Bank it some more. Lengthen this some more. Turn this some more. Turn it some more. And start to bring that round, but not all the way. Now we'll bring it level. That is not what I wanted to do. Like that. And then here we're going to start coming up again. Like that. And then here we're going to level that, or straighten that. Level the banking. And then you're going to come up a little bit more into the first of the double downs. So I think that's going to work. What height's that? 16. And that's 20. Okay, we have to change that a little. Bit more like that. Oops. Straighten it as well, of course. Right. you're going to go a bit more like that. So you're going to level. And then double down. So 20 sounds good. Like that. Tiny little bit of airtime. 29. And then you're actually going to come up to the right this time. Level you off. Switch you from that way to that way. In fact, from that we'll lengthen you and you'll start going down again. If I could do that here, if I just do a helix down left, there we go. That's pretty good speed as well, actually. Right, we'll do that. And then here it's going to start to... Hold fired for just a second. I just want to see how it does cresting this particular hill. I'm still not 100% happy with this. It might just be because of how it looks rather than how it runs. So that still runs at 5 right until it comes off of disengages the chain. Now it's a big drop there to 30, crests there, drops there, up and over that. Then here it's going to come up. Okay. So this is going to be some trim brakes. We'll chuck the optional catwalk in just so that looks a bit nicer, like that. And then turn the catwalk off, go to this. Alright, so here we're going to start turning to the left again. Down and round like this, and up, and then down again, and then up some more, level this and shorten this like that. See, up and over that, down and into this. That's a little too slow, I think, actually. Also, don't think it needs to be quite that long. I think that trim that. Your target speed can be something like, let's say 20, and there you go. Makes life a little bit nicer. You're going to go down like this. You're going to bank to the left like that. You're going to lengthen. You're going to start turning, and as you're turning you're going to bank some more. And then here you're going to go up again, and you're going to bank right to the 45, and here you're going to level, and then here you're going to drop down again, and then here you're going to straighten out, lose all the banking, and level out. There you go, that's perfect. Up and over there. Right, here you're going to bank round like this, and you can do two really sharp 90-degree turns. Bosh and bosh. And then here you're going to level out like that. You're going to shorten a little bit, and you're going to go into a little bit of a bunny hop. So like that, and then over like that really quickly. Like that. We'll see how that looks in just a second. Speed up time a little bit, get it to the top of the hill. Right. So you're about to come down the drop, like so, into the double down, up and over the helix, down the other helix, up into the trims, and then into the little slalom type section here, into the really sharp bend there. And that is a little too nice to them, this little bit here. So I think actually what I might have it do is here, have it go up like that, and then here you're going to level, level, and immediately drop down again, but in a really short, like that. And then you're going to lift up like so, and you're going to drop down like that, and this is going to be the site of the next set of brakes. So I think it was trims. Like that. And then here you're going to level out and then go into the block. That's too slow again. I think it's this bit. Should be a bit harsher on this drop. Have it go right down. Hang on, not that one. This one. Have it go right down like that. Like this, and then into a 90, just a little bit bigger, and levels out. Have you turn right over, and then here up again, like that. Straighten you, level you out, and then have you go into like this, maybe? Try that, and then have the friction brake on the level here. like this, and then a block straight off the end of that, maybe a trim, and then a block like so. Try that and see what that looks like, and then have it go into the second. There's going to be 3 lift hills on this ride. Each one's slightly taller than the last, so that gives you an idea as to how big the rock work at the back side here is going to be. I feel like this should be on a slope, even if it's not a very big one. If we put that on the tiniest of... like that. And then like that. Okay, so you are friction 18, like so. And then a little trim, like so. And then you level out, and then you have the block, like that. I think actually now this is a bit too... It should be almost immediate. Just slow down like that, and then this. Like that, and then that. Level out. And then have the block at the bottom like so. And then here we go round. Like that. I'm just seeing how big this has to be. Okay, I think we can go straight into the second lift hill here. So let's shorten that to that. And then that will be the top of the second lift hill. See, I still feel like that's... Alright, hang on, we'll have one more crack at it. I still feel like that's too gradual a slowdown. Like it feels like it's got to be almost instant. So let's do this. Level you out, or like bring you up again a little bit, like that. And then here you're going to snap out of that, and into a bit more than that, like this. And then you're going to go, bam, maybe just straight into trim brakes. Like that, and then down like so, and then into the block. It's going to be target of 5. What's the deceleration rate on this? Maybe like that. And then you turn. Like that. And then you'll climb out up the second lift hill. Like this. You go down to 4, the smallest, and then up to 7, let's say, because you're going up a bit steeper this time. Like that, and then you go right up to max. 1, 2. Something like that. So what's that now? That's 29. Over here it was 23. So that's 6 meters taller. That's about right. Hi, Snickers sauce. Snickers sauce? Snickers sauce? Welcome to the stream, anyway. Trying to build a mine train coaster. Not doing a very good job of it. There's a lot of sort of mundane, boring sections that I can see that are going to be rebuilt when we do the second take. That's pretty good, I suppose. Or maybe, that's a point. Maybe I do want to go full on Disney and actually don't have block breaks before the lift hill and just have it go up into... yeah, alright, hang on, let's try that. Ah, Australia. So Snickers, Australia. Cool. I'll bear that in mind. Welcome to the stream, anyway. Coasters are indeed very difficult. I've struggled with a couple on here so far. Let's do a really whipped in 90-degree turn here. And then here, you're going to lift up slightly. Ooh, come on, there we go. Straighten out. Like that. You're almost going to whip out of the corner into some friction brakes. Like that, with a target speed of 8, should we say? And a deceleration like so. And then into the second lift hill, which is going to go up to 42, I think it was. Like that. That's very much like Aerodynamics do with their mine train coasters. So here it will whip you round into the frictions and then into the lift hill. Pretty good, actually. Pretty good, if I do say so. This will level out like that as part of the lift hill. Actually, that could do with being a little bit more angled downwards. Something like this, perhaps. I so nearly said Snickersaurus. I have to admit that. I nearly did, and at the last minute I saw that that's not what your name said. Saved us both the trouble there, I think. Let me change that a little bit. Try that as a deceleration rate. And then we'll speed up the old time. So you can see how the coaster starts to be laid out here. We're getting further and further away from the station. This bit here really is going to be the turnaround, and the rest of the ride is going to be the journey back towards the station again. That was a pretty good slowdown, I would say. And then we got the climb up inside the mountain. This will all be covered, by the way. I'm sort of building out here right now, so that we get a feel for what it's going to look like. I think this needs to go like this some. And then a big helix down to the left with a nice big bend at the bottom of it. Oops. Right, level U, like so. At this point you're going to go a little bit steeper as we go into the start of a banked turn, and then here we're going to go into a really big banked 90-degree turn, like so, and you're going to come down a bit like that. And that should get some good excitement levels. We'll have to see what that looks like. Also, that's 33 and that's 33, so that's a little too high. If I decrease the size of this though, and then increase it again for this bit, that should look pretty cool. Straighten you out under there. Something a bit like that, perhaps? I'm intrigued, although that's only 30. It might not work. Might not work, we'll have to see. So see, you crest the hill, you go down the helix, which I might make bigger actually, and then around. Yeah, it's a bit too tight for my liking. So if we come back to this, make you a little bit bigger. Now these drops are, I mean, they're not vanilla, they're fairly intense, even though it's a mine train coaster. They're about as intense as you could expect from a mine train coaster. But the final drop from the final lift hill, I've got something a little bit special planned. So we'll wait with bated breath on that one, shall we? Now here I want that to do that, you to level off like so, and then here you're going to start tipping to the 45, and this is going to be the site of the overbank. So you're going to go to 0, you're going to come down from 0. I think we're a bit too close to the park boundary there though actually. Let's stop testing for a second. Let's get rid of some of these trees. Because they're all in the way. When the land's lifted up, which it will be momentarily, in fact I might do that whilst I'm doing this. This is all going to be in the way. So as I said before, this park is called Somerset Hills, and so far there aren't that many hills in and around the park. This is going to be a big hill. It's obviously going to be disguised to look like a western, like frontier type landscape, but it's going to be a natural contour that the park's been built upon. So we need it to look like that, which is easier said than done. And the whole park is going to be a case of easier said than done at this stage. Right. So I actually need to take this back to the bottom of the lift hill again, like that. If I build you as a placeholder, and then we go into this, and we need to pull up a load of land all the way along here, nearly up to the border, but not quite. The railroad's going to run through this section as well, and possibly through a tunnel at this point. It's going to be like a real rock canyon type setting. Right, now we need to roughen it up a little bit. I love this tool. It actually makes life so much easier. You don't have to carve bits into the landscape yourself. You just let this do it. There you go. Although this does need to come up a little bit higher, I feel. This particular bit here, because of what we're planning on building in terms of the ride track. There you go. Roughen it up a bit more. That's a rough idea as to what I want the track to look like, or what I want the landscape to look like. Sorry. And then here we're going to crest the hill like so. And I think actually we're going to create a special little drop off of the lift hill like so. And you're going to level out and lift up again. A bit like that. And then you're going to start to drop again. And at this point, can I do a down lift? I can do a down lift. Although I'm not leaving myself an awful lot of space here. So what I might do is take this right back to over here. And actually redo this. Whoops. I mean, that works out quite well, I suppose, because I get to fill the hole in. Like so. We'll do a little bit of smoothing. And then we're going to roughen it all up. Perfect. Right. Edit track. So at this point, we're actually going to level out here. We're going to straighten. And we're going to start to turn the other way. Not that far. As we lift back up. And we're going to go round like so. And down. Like so. And round. Like this. And then we're going to straighten out again. And we're going to turn the other way. You're going to go from down to a little bit up, but not too much. And you're going to come around like that, and then down a little. Down a bit more, like so, and then up. And I think like that. Straighten you out. Or at least as much as I can. Like this. And then here you're going to go into perhaps a couple more bunny hops. like so. And then round into a bend like that, and then into the second lift hill. So this will go like that, this will go... I mean, let's see how well that tests. So also that's 6, that's 10. Does it ever hit 6 again? It doesn't. It's 3 and then 2. That's all 3 over here. Plus it gives you that little bit of interactivity with Bandito that I wanted. And that explains why there's mine tunnels here, because the mine train coaster is right behind it over here. That actually works out quite well. I'm quite happy with that. So let's see what this looks like. I'm going to try and avoid doing a helix off the hill, second lift hill. I might end up doing one for consistency, because it will then make the third drop, or the third big drop, a bit of a surprise, because you'll be expecting another helix and instead you get something that's not a helix. I won't give too much away at this point, but it won't be a helix, that's for sure. Right, so that's all looking good. Going into that section, you get plenty of G's into the trims there. And that's good, because that feels like a good halfway point. And then into that, the transitions will be evened out a little bit more in a second. And then up, down, up, round. That actually goes pretty well, I would say. So here we can have it go up a little bit more. We can shorten this right up. And then this is going to be the frictions with the cat. And then this is going to be the second lift hill. Like that. And then like that. Level you off. Do the going up into the going down. We'll lengthen that so it's a little bit smoother. And then we'll add a little section to that as well, and then there we go. That's that done. Okay, so here I might do another helix. I know it's a little bit on the lazy side, but if I do this and then have it level off, in fact from here have it go straight into a left-hand helix, a fairly big one though, or bigger, like that. We'll have to put a rock face here or something. This bit here, I know it's got like little tunnels here and there. The majority of it will actually be above ground, or not underground at least. I do want to check that that has got slightly lower, like that. And then here we need to go into the big helix down, a little bit bigger. There we go. And then here, this is actually going to level out in terms of banking. Go back a little bit. We're going to lengthen this, and it's going to start lifting up again. And then here is going to be our over the top bank. So that's going to go like that, and then here we're going to have big 90 degree, 45 degree. You're going to hit 0 like that. Make it a little bit bigger like that. And so what height's that? 28, and that's 32. So make that a little bit smaller. And then this side we can just have it as big as we want. Although, I would quite like to do something a bit like this. That could work. Well, that being said, if I could get this to go to 90 degrees again, like that, and then here have it ease off a little, and also level out, like so. And then here we can flatten the banking. We can go into another sort of up and down type section of track. So have it a little bit steeper. Let's just check that. So down the helix, into the bank. Yeah, that's worked out quite well actually. I would quite like to go into trick track here as well. So from banking like that, I'm still not quite happy with that actually. Let's straighten this, level that. I want it to be steeper, the drop. So I think like this maybe? And then at the bottom, also have it bank to the left, like that. And then here, have it straighten up again, and then go back up. And then a little bit of air time with a bank to the left, and then have it come down into a bank to the right. Something like this. And then have it lift up again. Like that. You flatten. And then you level. We'll see what that looks like. I'm a little bit cautious about this overbank here. I wish I could get it to bank more than 45 degrees, but that seems to be the maximum. I'm also not quite sure how well this works. One thing I did want to do though is take off the lift hill there. Okay, so you go down into the overbank, where you do lose a lot of speed actually, and then into the trick track, and then round like that, and then here I think you need to go around like this. Like that, and then into another sort of drop section. So it'll suddenly drop down like that, but then it will level out ish. Just thinking we need to get it all the way back over there. So I think we could have like a little mine tunnel section here. Where it's like continuously downhill. You don't realise just how deep underground you're going. Something like this. Except if if we have it, so you're already on the bank, turn like this, and then have it go up again. Right, and then here you level, here you level, and then you'll go into a really big sort of camel hump that then bottoms out here and then suddenly lifts up sharp. This time we're going to do a double up, so hopefully we're going to have enough momentum to do this. Like that, and then like this. So what's that? That takes us to 15, and over here we're at 19. So on paper this should work, but we'll see. So down like that. What I could do here actually is get rid of the overbank and just have it go into trick track. Here's where it goes into the trick track, and then here it goes into the helix that suddenly dives down. And then over here it goes into the double up. Did I build that bit? I didn't. And we'll see what that looks like. But I'm assuming it's going to work, so I'm going to build the next bit, which is going to be a little drop down like that. Aha! We've met our arch nemesis, the park boundary. That's cool. Because I was planning on building a little bit of a curve here anyway. Now I know I have to build a curve here whether I want to or not. Takes away a little bit of that element of freedom, but then at the same time like that. Is this on a... It's on the flat. So I think here it's going to go like this. And this is going to be our... actually, yes. So was it straighten this, level this, shorten this a little bit, like so, lift it up just a tad, trim for this. I think trim would work well for this. Maybe not actually, friction, because we can build it smaller. Like that, and then into the final lift hill, which is not going to be as steep, but is going to go fairly high to the top of this. So what height's that? That height is 10. Right, let's see how that does. Come on, coaster, do your drop. Big drop down. I might make this go the other way actually, the helix. It'll be one long continuous right hand turn again, but it might be better off. Alright, so we've got the little section in there. Oh, it goes up to 8 at that point. Wow. And then down like that. And then into the final lift hill. Which makes me think... maybe not actually, because of timings. No, I won't make it that much bigger. But here, the ride's going to do something a little bit different and a little bit unexpected. So it's going to plateau flat there, and then here it's going to drop down a little bit like this to get a little bit of speed going, and then it's going to turn like so to about there, and then here we are going to drop. And when I say drop, I mean we're going to drop really steep. I'm going to go quite a ways down as well. A bit like this. And that's going to be our signature element of the ride, is going to be this huge drop. In fact, I'm not convinced that we're going to have enough speed built up. Not just that, actually, that we're not going to have... Because I don't want the train to be hanging off the chain as it goes into this drop. So I think if I do a little bit of a chicane, like so, so you can't even see the drop from the top of the... maybe not there. Maybe a bit more like that. So you can't even see the drop from the top of the lift hill. Like so. And then here, down. 60 degrees is absolutely fine. I'm going to go for a full-on 15-meter drop. Or 15 meters like this. And then another however long leveling out. Like so. A little bit tighter here. And really tight here. Where's the train? There it is. Just catching onto the third lift hill there. Okay, crest the hill. Need to make sure we've got just enough speed here to take us to the edge of the drop. It looks like we have. I think here we're gonna do the tighter turn, but not too tight. And then here we're going to start to straighten out, but not fully. And we're also going to start to debank a little more. And then here we are going to crest the hill. We're also going to do the end of the banking. So that's going to be a big over the top like that. And it's going to dive down into another hill. This time it's going to be a left-hander. Just going to go underneath the station like that. Ease off on the slope a little there. Well, it's got a little bit uphill, but not too much. And then here we can go a little bit crazier. Like that. And then here we're going to level out a bit more. So there's a slight head chopper as we go into this drop. Like so. Make sure that's straight. Make sure this is debanked. And make sure this goes into another drop. Down like so. And up. Over the top of this. And down again. A bit like that. And a bit like that. You're going to come round. As we're going down, you're going to level out like so. Alright, now at this point we're going to start heading towards the station, because here, connected onto the end of this, we're going to have a block section like that, with a little gap, maybe some drive tyres actually, and then some trim brakes like that, a little thing like this, and some friction brakes, which are going to go like that. So if I did autocomplete, that looks awful. Right, here we go. Big drop. Choo choo. Down into there. Round. Crest the hill. Good speed there actually. Down and round into that one. Crest the hill. Good speed again. So this section here really is going to be kind of the end of the ride. So I think a big helix up left, a lot smaller than that, like so perhaps, and then what would that look like? Still not quite good enough. I think a drop again here. And then up like this. What would that look like? That might work. That might indeed work. And let's try build it by eye first. And how would that look? Tight turn, evens out into the brakes. Alright, if I went to all of this and press the smooth all button and then the smooth banking button, I'd end up with something that looked a lot more manageable. And I like the little head choppers that we've made for ourselves here. The only thing I'm not so keen on is that is 14. That is only 18. That's 11. That's also 14. I mean, our target's 10. Let's see, shall we? Let's see. Right. Up the lift hill. Oh yeah, I'll whack it. Sort of 3 or 4 times on each one I'll hit it. Normally until it does something that I don't like, and then I'll change it back. But it hasn't done that with this, so I'm assuming everything's okay. Right, that's the disengage from the chain sound. Here we crest the hill. The excitement goes right down at this point, so I might put an animatronic there or something just to liven things up a bit. Alright, roaring into this. Crest the hill. That is good speed. And then down and round into this corner. Up and over there. At 25, I think that was. 24, 25. Round into the helix. It's the only up helix on the entire ride, and we come out of it just a little too slow for my liking. So we are going to change that. Because as you can see, we run out of steam. So we're going to put the helix up. Here. I'm going to make it as small as we possibly can. And then straight out the end of it, we're going to have a drop down. Because what we could actually do here is turn this into some drive tyres and have this as a lift hill. Down a little more, like that. And then we'll find out just how deep that needs to be in a second. And then from here have this go, first of all down a bit steeper, and then here have it turn as it starts to level off a little bit more. Because we love left-handers on this ride so much, we'll have one more set of, let's say right-handers? Yeah, we'll have one more set of right-handers. We'll have to really hide this well. We'll have it climb up a little bit as it goes like this, level it out a little bit, and then here level or straighten, maybe like this, as we go like this and dive down. What's the clearance going to be like that? Oh, terrible. Try that again, shall we? Straighten you out completely, actually. If I was to do that, shorten you, push it this way a little bit, and then have it go down a bit more. Bit like that. I think you will have to go fully down for this. Level this right out. Did I do a pun? I don't even recall that. Hopefully this works. So what height is that? That's 2 meters. So if I can get this down to 2 meters, which might involve shortening this slightly. If I do it like this, it doesn't have to be exactly 2 meters. If I do that, and then do this, and then do this, and then here you can go up and you got good speed coming through here. You've got good speed coming through here, so I don't want to mess around with it too much. But I think actually here what we could do is have you go around a little bit as you lift up. Now what would that look like? Bad. But that's fine. That's what this is all about. It's about making sure this works. Now? Yeah. We'll try that. And then we'll smooth all this out as well. All the way around here. Whoops. Round here and up as far as here, let's say. Smooth. Smooth banking. And we'll do an extra smooth just for good measure. Okay. So if I stop test just for a second, I think this is our ride. Before we test it though, I do want to do some landscaping, particularly at the top of this, because I don't want you to be able to have a massive view from the top of this lift hill, if at all possible. So first of all, I want this bit of the lift hill to be enclosed. Like so, and then even at the top here, I want this bit to be enclosed like that, and then I want all of this section here to be lifted up. The idea being you're not supposed to be able to see the drop, so all of this like that. And right now it's a real sheer rock face and it looks quite ugly, but we will hide it quite cleverly, I hope. And all of this section here will have like this, and then at the back here we'll just go for a big lift up right the way along. And I think here we will leave this bit open. Right, and then some bits of the track down here, the land also needs to be lifted. So under here, this all needs to be lifted up. So then this bit here is in a tunnel. Not a huge tunnel, but a tunnel all the same. All of this bit needs to be lifted up. Not quite that extreme. I will use the rough tool in a second as well, which will change things quite a bit. This section here needs to be not fully lifted, but partially lifted. So make that a bit more shapely, shall we? Like that, and then all of this bit under here, all around here. This section like that. I put bridges and stuff in here as well, so it's not all just about hiding the track. We will, some of the track, because it's meant to look like a railroad, so we will make some of the track look like it's supposed to be held up by wooden supports and things like that. The steel supports here are no good to us really. We could do without those. I'm going to lift that up like so as well. Right, and then finally, just to give the peaks here a bit more shape to them. Bit raggedy. Same over here, because it's all part of the ride experience. That's just a floating piece of ground, so get rid of that bit. But I do like the idea of trying to get some pieces like with Monument Valley, which we've kind of got here actually already. We do a lot of sculpting with the ground. Like that. That looks pretty good. There's probably people watching this thinking, what the hell's he doing? There's method in the madness. I promise you, there's method in the madness. Something like this. Now I need to actually build the queue. So I need to be able to place an entrance. If I could do that maybe over this side. Like so, and then the exit here maybe? Or no, maybe in more towards the middle, maybe the back actually. And then we'll have to somehow sculpt the land here a little bit better. So it's a bit more of a step down rather than a huge drop. Something a bit like this. I have to have a look at that. Flatten to surface. Choose like that surface. Whoops. Maybe not quite that steep. Something a bit more like that. And then smooth that right the way down, and then smooth that. So now if I try and build a path along this, train too even. Maybe my path is too thick. There you go. And then from here, have it come down gently. A bit like that. Looks fairly good for an exit path, I suppose. And then there'll be a gift shop over here, which would be shared with the dark ride. But we'll come to that bridge when we cross it. Yes, I meant to say it that way. I'm tired. It's midnight. It's 1 AM actually. Crikey. I need to end this stream soon. Right, I suppose a good way to end this stream will be to do a ride through. I'm not liking how close this support is to this particular piece of track. And also, before I do any kind of ride through, I'm very much inclined to smooth all this out as well. So where's the lift hill? There. So all of this we're going to smooth all, smooth banking. Smooth all again and again. It's not going to get rid of that support, is it? One more maybe? Another one more? There it goes. That's better. Right. And then from the top of this lift hill, here, right the way through, to this, smooth all, smooth banking, good. And then from here, this bit is particularly important because of how close it is to the ground, but also how close it is to Bandito and its queue. So you need to make sure this is nice and smooth. And smooth banking. Perfect. Right, and then this section, which I need to do the landscaping for as well. Right, right, the lift hill starts there, doesn't it? Yeah. Smooth all. Oh, that's very laggy. Track limits exceeded. Okay. Which track limits? That'd be a good place to start, wouldn't it? Let's do this in stages then. I have a feeling the track limit exceeded is on this overbank section. Yes. Yes, it is. So what I might do then is just completely, maybe not cut it out, but from, let's complete this for a second. I'm being presented with a unique opportunity here, and I intend to take it before I end this stream. Let's do multi-selection of all of this, excluding that, and do delete. There we go. And then grab these. Delete. Right. So I've been presented with an exclusive opportunity here to fix not that, but this. So from here backwards, I get the opportunity to go back and redo this. And I plan on taking that opportunity. So I'm going to pull a load of land up first and foremost. It needs to be quite tall again. About as tall as Bandito's Cobra roll, I would say. The top of it, anyway. I've got to remember, I've got to get the train through here. I think I might run the train right along the boundary there. Because if we throw some animatronics and some scenery and stuff like that, then you need not know that there's even a roller coaster next to you. Apart from the fact you might be able to hear it, but you know. Sound tunnels are a thing. They work quite well, actually. So we might see if we can do that a little bit. It might not work as a sound tunnel, but we could at least try and build one. Try and do a natural one with the landscape here. Okay. So here I would quite like the ride to not be underground. So with this lift hill I can actually do that. Like so. I think that was the height. So if I do that, that tells me how high I need to pull this up to. So we are going to have a sheer rock face to the top of this lift hill on this area. We'll have a lot of fall off down this particular section, and there'll be an overhang here like that, and that overhang will carry over to this bit here. Or will it? Might actually push that down and open this up a little bit. Bit like that. Right. And then from here, this is all going to lift up. The reason this bit's all going to lift up is because on this side, it's all going to drop down again. This is where we're going to have our helix down and all of that kind of stuff. So let's dig a bit of a crater, and then we're going to roughen it all up. Like with all of this, we're going to roughen it all up. A bit like that. Right, let's try this then and see how it looks. And this will be the final thing we do tonight. We'll have a ride through of the ride, make sure everything's in working order, and then we'll call it quits. So we're going to do something like that, along a bit like this, and then we're going to do a helix down to the right. But it's going to be a fairly big one. Bit like that. And here they're going to keep coming round. And then here it's going to come back up. So what height do I need to get it to? 19. And what height's this? 33. So really we've got plenty of room to work with. So if I do that, and then here we're going to level off suddenly. I am going to lower the land around all this in just a second. We're not going to go with the overbank on this though. Not anymore. I think we're going to do another double down on this particular section. Something a bit like that. And then here we're going to have a pretty distinct curve that's going to go down. In fact, here, as it goes down, like so, it's also going to start to bank round. And then here, like that, it's going to start to level out a little. And then here, it's going to start to lift up a little. A bit like this. And then here it's going to level out and drop down again slightly. I've absolutely no idea what the speed's going to be like going through this, so I'm going to have to wait for a second whilst I find out. Because it could well end up being too fast. Or it could be too slow. We just don't know. Not yet, anyway. So that's 19 as well. That's 21. So it needs to stay at this height now, all the way over to there. And the autocomplete is failing. I don't know whether autocomplete does tunneling though. Alright, so big drop down. Into the double down. Here it's going to drop down again. In fact, would this be a good spot for Trick Track? And not over here? Possibly. Maybe we should do that. So if we keep this banked to like 20 as it crests the hill and starts to go down again, and then here, let's have it go round a little bit first actually, like so. We'll have it level out on this curve like that, but then here if we have it straighten and then go the other way, not that much, like that, as it lifts up again, like this maybe, and then down as it goes back this way, and then from there have it go back this way, have it actually curve around. Can I also complete it now? No. Okay. Have it go around like this as it levels out. And then here perhaps, so I've had an idea, I've had a bit of an idea. We'll have it level out and we'll have it go into a camel hump like so, and then it's going to go like this. Right, and the reason I'm doing this is because I'm going to get rid of this section. So now it needs to just go to 11. and it will join up with that section. Fortunately over here it's still at, where are we? Is it here? I think you got to here. Yeah, at this point here it's still at 14. Now can I do autocomplete? Does it not let you do autocomplete in tunnels? That's actually quite frustrating. Although this section is not going to be in tunnel by the end of this. So perhaps it would be smart to stop the test really quickly, say that that's done, and then grab the terrain and push this down. Why is that not letting me rotate? Is it because I'm outside the boundaries? Oh, it's because I got T pressed. Right. And keep pushing all this down until we get to the bit over here. There it is. Okay, now from here we should be able to just do an autocomplete. There we are. Except that is not a good shape. So from here you're going to bank a little and you're going to go around, and then you're going to go level, except you're going to go from that way to this way, and you're going to go round like that. And then here, what height's this? 13. So here you're going to drop down a little. And then does that work? It does. Alright, and we're going to try this out and see how it works. Now all this section here is going to be above ground or not underground. Including this bit here. It's all going to be like canyons and drops and things like that. This bit here though is going to be a tunnel. So if I do that, smooth all, smooth banking, okie dokie, and then push all this down like that, and then all of this bit as well can come down a little bit like so. All of this section here can come down like that, and then all of this bit as well. Alright, and then this section here can all be lifted back up, but then this bit here can go down. Now, do I want this to be a tunnel, or do I want this to be above ground? I mean, this is quite dark in here actually. That would work quite well as a tunnel. So I think I should pull all the land back up. Maybe to about here. And like this is where it would go back into a tunnel. Because it has got to go into a tunnel at some point. I haven't actually revealed the name of this coaster yet. When I reveal the name, you'll see why it has to go into a tunnel at some point. I have mentioned the name of the ride before, but it was a long time ago now. I haven't mentioned it in this particular stream. Right, if I do that... Is that what I want to do? Or do I want this? I think I want this top bit actually out in the open. A bit like that maybe. Although if I could cover this up a little bit more. Like so. Yeah, that'll work. Like that, and then here this bit's all going to be out in the open as well. We do need to lift this bit a little bit closer to the track, like so. This little rocky outcrop is going to be changed, like that. This will be another little mini tunnel. Alright, let's roughen it up again. And and especially all this bit that's freshly done. It's all going to have to be roughened up again. Is that a peek into the tunnel? No. This bit is though. There we go. And then all of this section here. So the railroad track is going to run along the boundary fence, which is going to be along here. So you will be able to see. In fact, I don't know what the height would be of it. I think it'll have to lift up again, or the track will have to be elevated to go through this section. But it will run fairly close to the coaster here, and then it will curve away again and head along through a gap like that. So then all of this bit will have to be terraformed to fit in with the theme that we're going for. There is also the small issue of the fact that we're going to need a railroad station somewhere inside this area. Which we'll have to work on probably next week actually. We'll get the track running through here, because I would quite like to get it in and see how it looks. I'm not particularly happy with how this landscape's going. I feel like we almost need to lift all this up and have the track carve its way through, but I don't think that'll work out very well. Right, while we're here and we're doing all this, and I think we're at a point now where we can almost say we're done. Lift all this up. You get very close to the land here. We're going to give this a test run, and we're going to see how it looks. So, operations. I'm wondering, do I want to make the trains one car longer? I'm not sure if I do. But that answers the question, by the way. If you tick that block section, you can now put more trains out on the track. I think 4 will be fine. 1, 2, 3, and oh, maybe 5 actually. Maybe 5. Okay. Minimum departure interval, we're going to be 10 seconds apart. We will enable priority pass, but not right now. And test. And we're going to give it a ride. We'll ride in the front seat. Yeah, I need to start turning the collisions on and off. I will do that as well, to get the track, to get the land right up to the track, especially on bits like this. But I'm also going to use the rocks for that too. That's pretty good speed going into that actually. Quite happy with that. Quite like that as well. It's a good start to a coaster. It's a bit like Big Thunder Mountain. I mean, this whole ride, it's very difficult to build a good mine train coaster and it not be like Big Thunder Mountain. That is something you'll have to bear in mind with this. Okay, here we go. By the way, the name of this coaster is Manic Miner. That's why it needs to keep going underground. It's a Rollercoaster Tycoon throwback. There you go. You storm through the valley here, up and over the helix there. It's a little bit of a rough ride. Into the trims there. Around here by Bandito, past the clock tower, up and over the little airtime here and there, and then into the second hill. And here we go, we're just about to crest the top. Any second now. It's actually quite a big lift hill. They're all the same height there or thereabouts. This one's a little bit taller because it's a little bit steeper. But I think the third one might be about the same steepness as well. So maybe they're both the same height. There we go, disengaged from the chain. And down the helix we go. Into the double down, nice. Up and into the little chicane there. Around the curve there. Into the little bit of trick track. Into the big tunnel here. It gets very dark in here. And then into the double up. And then round into the third lift hill. Alright, here we go. Crest the top here. I will have to cover that. Actually, I might leave that open. Because you are quite high up, so it doesn't necessarily have to be all indoors. Or underground in this case. Disengage from the chain. I might slope all this bit down, so you're constantly building up speed. And then boom, big drop. Lots of speed. Into the drop under the station. Good speed through there. Into the hump there. Round and into the helix. Good speed there, I think. It's a little bit draggy. Down and round, up and over that. And then into the last corner. And then into the final lift hill. Which takes you back up to the station. And that is Manic Miner. I'm quite happy with that actually. I think that's quite a nice ride. And then back into the station. Yeah, I'm quite happy with that. See the results. This would have to be increased. We can do that with rock work and stuff though. And terraforming. Results. Maximum speed 52 miles per hour. Highest drop. Biggest drop is 25 meters. 25 meters in feet. That's 82 feet. That's quite big. Even for like, this is a family coaster supposedly. No inversions. Airtime count 2. That's a little bit disappointing. It's only 2. Let's check the live data. I like how dark it gets in this tunnel as well. Although here I think it does light up again a little bit. So I might have to pull the land up over this just to make it a little darker again. Why are you waiting there? Okay, because you've just reached that. That might be because of how close these 3 blocks are. Because that's the next train that's only just got there. I think this here is just a particularly long block. So if I go operations and increase this to like 20, that should fix that problem. So now that train will release. You can actually see the height difference from here. So this is the tallest lift hill. Second lift hill is the tallest, but it's not the fastest. That's interesting. Yeah, I like how it runs through all the canyons and stuff as well. Right, I'm going to name this. And actually, I mean, I'm still calling this a first attempt, because although we've done lots of track changes since we built it, we haven't sort of gone away and come back to it like we did with Bandito or indeed Crazy Taxi. So this is a first attempt still, in my opinion. And it's worked out quite well, I'd say. Right, where's the... So that train's just reached that lift hill, as this train is climbing this lift hill. So that should hopefully clear the block before this gets to the top. and it looks like it has, which is awesome. Good news bears. I'm very tempted to leave this one out in the open, so you get a big view down here. I will of course decorate it and theme it so it's not just a sudden sheer drop to nothing. And then down into the tunnel. We should be following this first train over here actually, because I want to look at the data. So let's actually watch it on its journey. So I mean, I think the average speed it said was something 30 something miles an hour, which is pretty good. The only reason it's a little bit on the dull side in terms of the results is because of the lift hill speed. That brings the average right down. You can see here, I mean at one point it went up to an 8 something, didn't it, on this next section. So we'll have to bear that in mind. But going up the lift hill, it dropped below 1. Well, it's on 1 at the moment. I don't actually know, like, if I was to put animatronics or explosions or something like that, would that increase the excitement? Also, the excitement is increasing as you're going up the hill, so maybe the height has something to do with it as well. Being able to see how high up you are. It's gone right down again now because we're cresting the hill. It could also be anticipation. That'd be really cool if it does include anticipation. If it factors that in. Right, down here we go. The excitement's risen quite high. Fear's also gone quite high. Wow, it hit 9 there on the double down. That's awesome. And this is all the trick track section. It's kind of trick track. It's mostly just chicanes and stuff. Alright, we're into the tunnel. Which brings you all the way over here. A little plateau section there, which isn't quite as exciting, but that's fine, because it's taking you into the most exciting part of the ride, so we'll let you get away with that one. Right, excitement is increasing as you're going up the lift hill. That is quite a nice touch, actually. I do like that. That train's just cleared that block. What I might do is raise the speed limit of the lift hills to something a bit more realistic, especially for this section here, because it does go right down. You see here, 0.2, 0.1 even, and then it goes from 0.1 right the way up to 7. Is it going to go up again? Back up to 7. So this isn't even the most exciting part of the ride. I would have thought a 60-degree 85-foot drop would be quite exciting, but apparently no. This can sort of be classed as a double down as well, I suppose. The helix there is pretty good, although a little slow over the crest. I'd lower that a little bit more if I could. And then this section is really just the return section, so it's never going to be breaking records or anything. Actually, for this last bit, I'm going to do a little bit more editing. Just a little. So the first thing I'm going to do is select this. Chain lift speed, we're going to take it up to 8. And that should change all of them, but I will check just to make sure. You have to excuse my sniffing as well. I have got a bit of a cold, unfortunately. There you go, 8. This one over here will also be an 8. The first one, if I can, I'm tempted to leave it as a 5. And then it'll all be faster from there. The next thing I want to do is here. Get rid of that. And then get rid of these bits. You will still be chain. You will be friction brakes. And then you will just be normal track. And then autocomplete. Just do that. We'll see how that looks. Check the speed on these as well. Double check the speed on these. So you're 8. So the other two will be 8, and then this one is 5. Cool. That's worked out quite well then. Right, Manic Miner. Done. I will change the colour of the trains as well. I want a lighter blue. And then if I'm looking to pick out detail, red on that. And then you be black, maybe grey. Something like that. And you be red as well. That looks pretty cool. Yeah, I like this. I think this looks really cool. Let's have a look at the wheel details as well. That's one thing I like about these mine train coasters, is these two wheels here are actual wheels of the coaster. I think some of the original mine train coasters, they were just decoration, but these ones, they are actual wheels that run on the actual track. And that does make a bit of a difference. Right, so this train is going to stop, because there's no way this one's going to reach the next chain lift by the time this one reaches the top of this one. And I might take this out as well and just have it as a straight piece of track, so that this bit here is a little bit more adventurous. I like the way my western area is coming together now. If I zoom out, look at it from above, you can see just how big Manic Miner and Legend of the Frontier is actually going to be. Originally we were going to have an Amazon themed area in this section, and then the Legend of the Frontier in this section. You can kind of see now how that was unfeasible, or why that was unfeasible, not just how. Right, so you crest the hill at your faster speed. I hope all the banking and stuff here takes that into account as well, because 3 miles an hour faster at the top could be 6 miles an hour faster at the bottom. That is quite a big difference. They do love that double down there though. Quite happy with that, because it's a nice little trick. I like doing them on mine train coasters on Roller Coaster Tycoon, so I thought I'd carry that over. I seem to have done it quite successfully here, which is good news. Very good news. Right, into the lift hill here. Now I have a feeling that there's going to be a train waiting at the top of this hill. There is. Ah, that's the first lift hill. Aha! So actually you might clear the block at about the right time. So these trains should be quite well spaced. Yep, that's going down the big drop now. Down at the bottom here. Up and over that. We'll chuck loads of rocks in here as well. Make it look really nice. So these are old abandoned mine shafts, these little tunnels. That's what these are for. We'll find a way to somehow incorporate these little sections here. Put some bridge track in or something. Same here. Put some kind of bridge in. Alright, you over the top there. Round like that. And then up. Into the final chain lift. That's increased the speed there as well. That's good. Okay. Right, that does it for this stream then, guys. I've been streaming for 3.5 hours. I remember after an hour and a half looking at the timer and thinking, I should do it over 2 hours really. I wasn't expecting to do it over 3, but there you go. So off camera I probably won't get much done if I'm honest. So we're pretty much going to join it again next week with it in the same state that it's in now. But I'm really pleased with how things are going now. It took me a long time to start making progress. Episode 18 was last week, this is episode 19. But we are starting to make progress. So there will be a dark ride in this area here. It might even stretch around over here. And then that will be the western area completed. For now, there might be a show that we could put in or something like that. And then we can start moving on to Heart of the Forest, which is going to be over here, which I'm also looking forward to doing because it's going to involve a lot of terraforming. Thank you, Snickers, for coming into the stream. Also, thank you to Sparky, and thank you to... I might not be able to find your name again, actually, because I had to refresh the page on Twitch a couple of times on my laptop. But thank you to everyone who came into the stream. Thank you for everyone who's participated in the chat. It makes the stream so much more fun when people engage with what's going on. So big thank you to everyone. Once again, thank you to Sparky for doing the kits for Football Manager. Not really relevant to say it here, but I know it means a lot to him to have the shout out, and it means a lot to me that he did it. So a big thank you to Sparky for that. Besides that then, guys, that just about does it for this stream. So thank you very much for watching. If you're watching this on YouTube, hit that big subscribe button. If you're watching this on Twitch, on the VOD, hit the follow button so you get to see when I stream next. Besides that, that is it actually. Yeah, that is pretty much it. So I'm going to Alt-Tab out of the game so that I can switch off the stream. Thank you very much everybody for watching, and I'll see you next week.